So you're new to Genshin, returning to Genshin, or just playing Genshin, and you're doing some temples, and when you don't get a 5-star, you do get 4-star Xinyan. Now, what do you get with Xinyan besides, well, for me, probably the most forgettable character. Now, I know that Xinyan has some people that she is their favorite character. Every Genshin character has somebody or has people that these people love this character, and Xinyan is no different. There are people out there that absolutely love Xinyan and that love to build her and love to use her. I am just not one of those people. She is kind of forgettable for me. I forget about her. And you'll notice that we are using the trial Xinyan. That is because my Xinyan's level 20. I remembered to level her to level 20 to get the free pool on standard. That's about it. So in this video, we're going to look at the basics of Xinyan, how her skill works, how her burst works, all of that fun stuff. We are going to look at the build that Genshin gives us for the trial. Now, if you like the content that I make, if you like the videos that I make, these guides and all this different stuff, I would love it if you were to like, comment, subscribe. Floofy would also love it if you were to do that. Say hi, buddy. Come see him on the live streams too. I know you went down. I now even have a little animation thingy below me, so it's getting real, it's getting professional. So do like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let's get into this video. Xinyan's level 80 out of 80, 17,600 HP, 1,600 attack, and then 2,000 defense. Split 26/91 with 135 ER. For weapon, they did give her a level 80 White Blind for the defense. For artifacts, they did give her Noblesse. She is C0 and her talents are 888. Now let's look at her passives. Her first one is going to decrease the amount of enemies that you have to hit to get the different levels of her shield. We will look at that later. Her second one, characters that are protected by her shield have a physical damage increase of 15%. So now let's go look at how her kit works. Her normal attacks are going to be fairly normal. I have a floofy fur on my face. Her normal attacks are going to be fairly normal, where they're going to do physical damage with the Claymore. Nothing too special about it. Now her skill is going to do a couple of different things. It's going to depend on how many enemies you hit. If you hit one enemy, it is going to give a level 2 shield. Remember that passive is going to decrease the amount of enemies you make. Normally one enemy would give a level 1 shield, but in this case, because the passive is going to give a level 2 shield. Level 2 shield stays on the field. You can swap between all your characters. It doesn't do anything special except for protecting your character. If you hit 2 or more enemies, you get a level 3 shield, which will also do intermittent pyro damage. Same thing, you can swap through your other characters, and it will remain there, pulsing out, dealing pyro damage. So this can be good for Mulanni if you don't have Toma. You can use this to kind of help keep pyro onto your enemy. Characters that have that shield because of her other passive are going to get an increase in physical damage. As you see here, Rosaria is doing right around 1,800 with her first one, up into like the 4,400. As you see, the first one is actually going to be 1,900 with the shield, and it's going to go up to around 4,900, I believe it was. So it's not a huge, massive increase in damage. It is a 15% increase in damage. Now we're going to look at her burst. What her burst is going to do is that it's going to do 2 instances of damage, well, multiple. The first one is going to be a physical damage seen by this white number, and then it's going to do a bunch of pyro AoE damage. So what you can do is that you can use her skill first to give her a shield, to then use her burst, meaning that we are going to get an increase in the physical damage from that burst. You can also use Superconduct, which is the team that you are given in this trial as a Superconduct team, to make the enemies weaker to physical, meaning that her burst physical damage is going to do more. Now, while you can do this to make her physical damage go up from her burst, personally, I like using, or I would use, if I was to use this team, I would be using on-field physical damage Rosaria. Rosaria attacks much, much faster than Xinyan. I believe Rosaria is one of the fastest attacking characters, normal attacking characters in the game. And she would be able to make use of that physical damage increase much more than Xinyan, in my opinion. But if you were to want to run on-field damage Xinyan, then just make sure that you're causing your superconduct reactions, getting your shield, and then using her burst to maximize that instance of physical damage. And I believe that that's kind of how this team is supposed to work in the trial, is to cause superconduct to allow for her physical damage to do more. So this team could work, but like I said, I would probably use something like on-field Rosaria instead, just because Rosaria is much faster at attacking, and this Rosaria is actually built to do physical damage, as you'll see whenever we actually look at the artifacts. I do like what Genshin has been doing, though, with some of the trial characters, where it's actually like a usable team with usable artifacts kind of thing. So it's a very good thing to see, a very good idea as to how a team could work. Xinyan is definitely on the banner to give another pyro, a way of afflicting the enemies with pyro through Mulanni to burst, or to get vapes off of. That's definitely why she is here. But I do like that they did not do that in her trial. You're able to see how she could work in a completely different team. Now, for artifacts, they gave her 4-piece Noblesse. And Genshin used to give every trial character 4-piece Noblesse. And they actually didn't do that in this, where Rosaria actually has Bloodstained, which is a physical. Fischl has 2-piece, and then Layla has Blizzard Strayer for some reason. But this is definitely supposed to be much more of a support for like on-field Rosaria. Now, for beginner to mid-game, I'm going to say like 2-piece Defender's Will, 2-piece Attack, or 2-piece ER for like a shield Xinyan. But for damage Xinyan, probably like Martial Artist, where you're going to be using normal charge attacks. After you use her skill, it's going to increase normal charge attack again. This is going to be another way of getting her own personal physical damage up. For mid to late game, you have a lot of different options. You could do 4-piece Emblem to do burst damage. You could do 2-piece Bloodstained Chivalry, 2-piece Pale Flame for physical damage. You could do 4-piece Tenacity to get her much more of a shield bot, to where she's going to be buffing the rest of the team with her shield, because at a level 2 shield, you'll be able to keep Tenacity's passive up the entire time that the shield is up. So you have a lot of different options for what you could do for her. For the main stats, you also have a lot of different options. That is going to be for the Sands. If you want her to do damage, like this one right here, you're going to be doing an attack Sands. If you want her shield to be stronger, you're going to be doing defense. If you're running Emblem, you're probably going to be doing like ER. For a Goblet, you can do Pyro, physical, in this case defense, to increase the strength of her shield. And then for the Circlet, you can do crit damage, crit rate, or defense like here to increase the shield. There's so many different things that you can do with these builds, and I think that's one of the reasons why she's not looked at as being super good. We're going to talk more about that in a second. First, we're going to look at weapons. They did give her White Blind, which is going to increase her defense, and then as well as on normal and charge attack, it's going to increase her defense and attack a bit more. So this is going to be much more of a defense or much more of a shield Xinyan, a support Xinyan, than a damage one. You could run like Red Horn, you could run Sacrificial if you want to do Emblem, you could run Beacon, you can run a lot. You can run Skyward Pride if you want to do Emblem. There's a lot of different things that you can give her, a lot of different weapons you can give her depending on the build. And that's one of the reasons why I think that she's overlooked or not looked at as being that strong. It's like they tried to make her do too many things, and she's not particularly amazing at any one of them. Kind of like Dory. In my opinion, Dory is kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. I think Xinyan is also like that, but Xinyan was like, let's try and make this character a jack of all trades, and they didn't do a good job of it. And then they tried it again with Dory, and Dory is a little bit more successful version of a jack of all trades, because this is supposed to be a shielder, a physical damage dealer, a physical damage buffer, but her damage scales off of attack, her shield scales off defense, and she can't cause superconduct to increase her physical damage. It's just such an interesting character that I feel like they tried to hodgepodge too many things together. And that's why you have so many weapon options, so many artifact options, depending on what you want to build, or so many main stat options. I don't think that is a good thing. I think that might be closer to a negative thing. It's like they try to, the more that I talk, the more that there is, I really think that they try to just like, this is like a pre-Dory, where they tried to do too much with Xinyan. And then they're like, crap, we failed on that one. Let's try it again with Dory. And it's still not super good. Dory's not like super good, but in my opinion, she's a little bit better than Xinyan because of the ER and the healing. Maybe that's why. Anyway, but like I said earlier, there are people that do like Xinyan. That Xinyan is going to be their favorite character. I hate the accent. I was raised in the Southeast, and she has a Southern accent, and it just like trauma, brings me back to the South, and I left the South for a reason. So that's I don't like her. It has nothing to do with her playstyle. It's that accent that I don't like. Now, that is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, do be sure to leave it down in the comments. If you are a Xinyan main, I would love for you to comment down below, and I'd love to see your build. I'd love to see one and see how much damage she can do. So if you are a Xinyan main, drop that down below. Let me know, and I will check out your build. That's going to be it, and I'll see you in the next one.